Hey guys, what is going on? It is Lance and Lauren, and we are here for episode 14 of Elevated with Lance and Lauren. Is that right? 14? Yeah?
14? Episode 14, yeah.
It's crazy.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, they sure are. So we are so excited to be here with you guys, and we're going to be talking about a topic that we kind of just go circles around, so to speak, with clients, well, new clients, clients who've been in our program for a while totally get it, prospects and people that we talk to and things of that nature. And it is actually going to be on the biggest myths about food and fat loss. So if you're here live, you know what to do, #live. And if you're here watching this on the replay, #replay. And sidebar, as you think of questions that you might have that pertain to this topic, like if you were talking about something and it strikes a question, put it down in the comments and we'll continue to pick up this conversation and do more videos on this because there's so many misnomers out there. So with that, I think we can maybe dive in.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, we're talking about the biggest myth. Mm-hmm. One single myth about food and fat loss that comes up more than anything. Mm-hmm. You got to know there are a couple things that cause fat loss, and it's not a matter of opinion.
Right.
And those are understanding what we call energy balance. The bottom line is this. I'm going to make this because I don't want to make this an entire presentation on the metabolism and fat loss.
Or a science and math video.
Right. So we're going to keep it kind of calm, but I will say this. The basic fundamentals of fat loss is going to come down to this. Everybody is going to have a metabolism. Your metabolism is your ability or rate at which you burn body fat. Mm-hmm. That metabolism, the rate at which you burn body fat, will slow down or increase based on certain signals that you give your body. Mm-hmm. If your body, based on its current standpoint right now, requires a certain amount of calories, which it does to maintain its body weight, if we decrease those calories by enough of a deficit, it's going to create a caloric deficit, which will cause you to begin losing body fat. This is not a matter of opinion. These are the laws of thermodynamics. This is how it works.
Yep.
If you consume even healthy calories over what your body requires each day to maintain its body weight, that's what we call the total daily energy expenditure, you will gain weight. Now, if you're working out the right way, you will gain muscle most likely, as long as we're not overfeeding. If you do it too quickly, you'll gain weight. Now that we have that out of the way, so what we know is that everybody has a daily total energy expenditure. That is your metabolism, okay? That metabolism, if you eat under that metabolic rate, you're going to lose body fat, okay? So, now that we have that, what's up?
I want to say
Go
something.
ahead,
Okay.
yes.
By the way, I actually did a video about this on my profile. I actually totally just kind of went off, so to speak, on intermittent fasting because I talk about this so much, and we get so many people that want to talk about intermittent fasting, but a lot of them don't understand why it works. Mm-hmm. So if you missed that on my profile today, go check that out. Anyway, but what I was going to say, to piggyback off of what he is saying to you, he is simply saying to you this, and I know he's going to get into this even more. If your body requires, and I'm throwing out numbers, okay, just to make math easy. If your body is at a deficit at 1,500 calories, did you know that you could eat Twinkies all day, and as long as you don't go over 1,500 calories, you will lose weight? Did you know that if you eat chicken breast and rice and broccoli and maybe a little Snickers bar and those things, as long as you stay at that 1,500 calories, you will lose weight? So what that simply means is the foods that you choose don't matter. You're going to be more hungry on a Twinkie diet at 1,500 calories than you are filling your diet with other foods that
and you'll be less healthy.
Absolutely.
Of course, but just in weight loss alone.
Yes. So the point is that, which I know he's going to get into, I just kind of want to throw that out there as a little spoiler alert. We're going to talk to you guys a little bit about why, yes, your food choices are important when it comes to your health and staying satiated. But the bottom line is that it really is about the math. So anyway, I wanted to say that.
Yeah, so the math is what this really comes down to. And when people ask about exercise, exercise is simply just the same as reducing your calories. If I burn 400 calories or if I reduce my food by 400 calories, it's the same principle.
Yeah.
Now, exercise does have certain physiological benefits that reducing food doesn't have necessarily. But here's the thing. There is no such thing, and this is where the biggest myth comes in. There is no such thing as good food or evil food or bad food. There are only nutrient-dense foods and there are calorie-dense foods.
Right.
Okay? So what that means is that calorie-dense foods, those are the ones that are less nutritious for us. We want to use moderation with those. We want to have those less frequently.
Yep.
Now, people like myself back in the day would say, I don't do moderation well. You're going to have to tell me what that looks like, because if you tell me I can have some cereal, that means that I've got a salad bowl filled to the top with Cinnamon Toast Crunch and milk. And that would be my personality. So we're talking about a specific code of moderation when we talk about how to do that. But the bottom line is that if you have a good balance of calorie-dense and nutrient-dense foods within the parameters of being in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose body fat. But if you have a good range of nutrient-dense foods and calorie-dense foods, the fun foods, you're also going to be able to do that without feeling so deprived.
Yes.
Guess what? Here's the secret. If you don't feel deprived while you're losing body fat, do you think that you're going to be able to stick with that longer? The answer is yes. You're going to be able to stick with that longer. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have mess ups and things like that, or where you overindulge, or where you forget to log or track something. But the fact is that if we are trying to increase the potential outcome of you being able to lose body fat that stays off, and we know that as long as we put you at the right calorie amount for your goals, we can either make you eat nothing but clean food, which case in the clean foods we're talking about where these are only nutrient-dense foods, zero calorie-dense foods at all.
And there are things that are off limits.
Totally.
Like, and that's like, we've had people that I'm just like, how your clients can't sustain that. Like, they can't, they're you know, if you've ever been on a diet and the person that gave you that diet is like, okay, here's the list, literally gives you a piece of paper. These are the list of the things you can eat. Let me tell you something. You're going to get sick of eating off that list. It's just,
definitely.
You know, it's just the way that it is.
And the thing of it is that what a lot of people sometimes will argue with us about is, yeah, but that's not healthy eating processed foods. You're right.
You're right.
You're talking about health versus fat loss.
Right.
But understand this. Did you know that one of the biggest medical benefits you can get comes from losing body fat?
That's right.
Almost all of the data markers that are telling your doctor that you're unhealthy will disappear when you lose body fat.
That is correct.
So instead of you arguing with me over what's healthy versus what's not, trust the process that if I keep the right calories and I show you how to lose body fat where you're eating fun foods and some nutritious foods with it, this is going to teach you a process in which case when you lose the body fat, now this process that you're doing is second nature. Do you think that you might be a little bit more likely and open to check out some more nutrient dense foods later on the line once you're fit and you've gotten all this healthy stuff dialed in as far as keeping yourself fit?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Every time that we take people through 3 phases in our program, and then our 4th phase is before they graduate, we begin teaching them even more on how to eat nutritiously for long-term health, cancer prevention, making sure that you're healthy for your hair, your nails, your heart, your lungs, so that you're sleeping well.
Right.
And we talk about how to do this. But the point is that before you focus on any supplementation and things like that, you are completely missing the forest through the trees if you are dialing in other areas, but you've missed the point of energy balance and you don't understand that you only lose body fat when you're at a caloric deficit.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
It is.
So if you use this, if you take this and use this, it will change your life. And then again, it will help you to build on to low-hanging fruit sort of habits that eventually turn into I cut out all of this stuff and chose kale over whatever cookies or something. I've not done that. I'm not planning on doing that, but maybe that's your goal. But my point is if it's your goal, don't try and start off before you've built up willpower. Yeah. I've done this I've worked out and lived a healthy lifestyle for 22 years. Mm-hmm. And there are still some things that I would have to work up willpower or discipline to do. Yep. So if you want this to be long term, these are the sort of things that you've got to focus on and pay attention to.
I would agree.
So anything you wanted to add as far as, I know that this is something that we hear so often with clients, as far as like, oh, whenever they first get started, I know I wasn't eating clean enough. And then once we tell them to start, never mind the cleanness, just stick with the macros that we provide you and prescribe you. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden the consistency they start noticing, even though they didn't clean up their food at all.
Yeah, I would say one of the coolest things for me as an accountability coach in our program, especially when somebody gets started, is once we give them, their macro blueprint and they actually get to see what they get to eat for, again, it's P.S., this should not be cookie cutter. It's not. It is not cookie. My macros are different than Lance's. My macros are going to be different than someone else who even is a similar body type as me, because we...
Different dieting history,
different
body,
lifestyle, different all of it. Okay, so I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer. But one of the coolest things I think that I see as an accountability coach, especially as new clients are uploading their macros when they first start, is a lot of them, they take the meals that they're already eating, that they're already feeding their families or cooking, and they actually get to still eat those meals. How many of you guys get so flustered whenever you get on a nutrition program and all of a sudden you are cooking food for you and food for your family, because you can't eat the same things that they do because it's not on the list? We don't have that with our clients. So one of the coolest things that I get to see is a new client, I almost said new patient, a new client who is like, yeah, we eat tacos every Tuesday night. And that is like a family thing. And it's when we get together and we, break bread together, so to speak, and have our meal. And we didn't have to change anything about that.
Definitely.
That's cool. Like, how would you love to be able to do that and know that you are still going to reach your fat loss goals? I bet all of you guys are raising your hand on the other side of this screen. So.
Well, the thing of it is that a lot of times people get so confused about the nuances before they've actually kept the main thing.
Yep.
And so it's not, some of the things that you might have learned or heard, it's not that those things are untrue. It's just that there's a key process that we pay attention to called syntax. Syntax is simply this. It's the order of which the events would go that make this process possible. For example, you might know all of the ingredients of the cake, but that will not put the cake together.
That's right.
So, for example, if you put, the batter in after, or, after you've done something else, you might have a totally different concoction than a cake. The same thing occurs with this. It's just that simple, is that there might be all of these techniques and tools that are out there. And it's not that they don't have a place. It's just that most of the time, those things that people are teaching, they don't have a place until the very end.
Yep.
They're talking about focusing on these micro nuance things where I'm going, I would never have somebody do that until they've mastered X, Y, Z, and so on and so forth. And so what happens is people end up exhausting themselves doing all of these things that take massive willpower, and yet they don't move the needle. And so what we do is we help people do things that take little willpower and yet massively move the needle. And then after the needle's moved a lot and they've built up their willpower, now we show those other nuanced things that move the needle just a little bit. And they're ready for them and they're prepared for them. Does this make sense? I hope it does. Because this here, well, good. You can stay working with us. This is the sort of thing that makes a permanent transformation as opposed to a temporary makeover.
Right. Well, and I think that honestly, if you guys watched Monday night, we interviewed one of our clients, Karen, and Karen's story was so cool to share because she was talking about these very things and how everything else she's done before was basically focused on elimination and restriction. And now it's like her whole family, like their life is completely shifted. And and she's like, she was just talking to me, she's down over 30 something pounds. And she was like, I still live my life. Like nothing has changed about my life. It hasn't. No. So.
And the thing of it is, guys, if you know much about habit, you'll know that if we can keep, your lifestyle as similar as possible to what you already know,
Yes.
you're going to have the greater chance, or the greatest chance rather, at actually sticking with this new habit we're trying to
Exactly.
get you to accommodate.
Exactly.
And that's what we do. So if we're trying to make you switch over to all of these health foods right away and put you at a deficit that makes you feel like you're hungry, and we're also restricting you and making you work out all this, all these things, this is so much. And you're just trying to convince yourself that you should be healthy again, and that it's not too much for you. Well, the thing of it is, it's hard regardless. So my principle is, why not we make it easier on you so that it's not something that is doubly hard just because you're starting off new. And so what we do is we teach people to time collapse, to learn the things that we kind of stumbled through so you don't have to. So the next thing that I wanted to kind of bring to kind of wrap this all up is that you guys need to understand that healthy foods are for health, again, longevity of life, quality of life, etc. But those will not cause weight loss unless you're at a deficit.
That's right.
So this is a huge thing, is when you're talking about clean foods or healthy foods. Healthy foods are going to be nutrient dense foods that are going to, again, add to your immune system, revitalize your body, so on and so forth. So healthy foods by themselves do not lead to fat loss. That is the most important thing that I can get across to you, because it is not enough. If you're choosing chicken salads and you think that you're eating healthy and that alone is going to cause weight loss, you're sorely mistaken, and it's going to cause you eating a food that you don't really want to be eating, and then it's going to cause disappointment when you step on the scale. Because I literally have had clients that they came to us because they weren't losing weight even though they're eating chicken salads daily. And when I started teaching them about energy balance and tracking food, they started calculating those calories, and they were going over. Those chicken salads were 1,100 to 1,300 calories a piece.
A salad, y'all.
Per salad. And so now again, I'm not making fun. She had no clue. I was mad for her because she had no clue, and she's being lied to, She thinks that she's like, I don't even like these things. They're okay, but I'd rather have something else. And so here's the funny thing. I could have put her on a Big Mac and fries, or small fry, whatever, at like 900 calories compared to 1,300 calories, and she would have been closer to her deficit, to where she would have lost more body fat.
Right.
Now again, that doesn't mean that she would have been healthier as far as like how her body felt, but she would have noticed major medical benefits from dropping body fat along with confidence.
Yeah.
So our benefit here, our focus, is flexibility increases satiety, which allows us to stick with the process. The longer we stick with the process, if it's the right deficit, it's going to work.
That's right.
That's the whole key. So flexibility is a key, along with knowing the science and the math of how your body actually lets go of body fat. So the thing that I want to give you guys today is something that we made specifically for our clients. It was something that people paid to get entry and access to. It was a masterclass that I did specifically on the metabolism and what causes your body to let go of fat versus holding on to it, and what this all means. And let me tell you something, this is a great way to learn about why you have not been able to lose the body fat and keep it off. So if you want access to that, you can go to lancecronecoaching.com/metabolic, or you can click the link above, or wherever you're watching the video, you'll be able to see that too. So hope that helps you guys. You will love that. And let us know if you have any questions on there as well.
Yeah,
So
it's a game changer. No, I just wanted to comment on the Metabolism Masterclass. I would highly recommend that all of you go and watch that. It is such an eye-opener, and you're going to have light bulbs popping off everywhere. So, it's good.
Cool. Want to sign us out?
Yeah, put me on the spot. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Elevated with Lance and Lauren.